Top of the morning to ya. Have you ever been absolutely certain you understood exactly what someone meant, only to discover later that you completely missed what they were really saying? Or maybe you've had the experience where you thought you made a huge impact on someone, but what they remember as life-changing was something completely different. That's the power of NLP Communications Model. And understanding it will transform how you lead, love, and live. When I first entered therapy and recovery, I carried a dangerous assumption. Everyone knows what I know and thinks the way I think. I would discuss differences as anomalies, basically forcing everything I learned from others to fit my internal representation of how the world worked. Breaking out of that pattern made me a better person and a significantly better coach. Let me share a story that perfectly illustrates this. Bryan was in one of my early mastermind groups, and when I reached out for testimonials, I was certain that I knew his most transformative moment. I assumed it was when his mindset shifted and he decided to leave his current job for a much higher paying position that would provide for his family while he launched his coaching practice. That seemed like the obvious breakthrough moment. But when we got on the call, it was completely different. He told me about a time he'd missed his weekly point goal for his diet plan and laughed it off during our group session. I looked at him with a serious expression and asked, "What's funny about that?" He backed off immediately, mumbling through minimization like, "Well, it's only a few points." At the time, I didn't even realize it had made an impact on him. But from that day forward, he never missed his diet points again. That single question became his lasting memory of transformation. This story perfectly illustrates the NLP Communications Model and why it's the final piece of our Transformation Breakthrough Seeds series. You see, there's an external event, in this case, Bryan missing his diet goals, but that doesn't directly create our experience. Instead, it goes through our internal processing system, where we delete, distort, and generalize information to create our internal representation. Here's what's happening. Every second, we're bombarded with 11 million bits of information through our 5 senses: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory. But our conscious mind can only process about 134 bits per second. So we have to filter that massive amount of information, and we do it through the 3 primary mechanisms. We delete information, selectively paying attention to certain aspects while ignoring others. We distort information, changing it to fit our existing beliefs and expectations. And we generalize, taking one experience and applying it broadly to create rules about how the world works. My internal representation of Bryan's mastermind journey focused on the big career change because that aligned with my coaching framework about breakthrough moments. But Bryan's internal representation was shaped by his personal struggle with discipline and follow-through. When I challenged his casual attitude towards missing his goals, it hit his core issue in a way that the career shift never could. It probably contributed to his career journey. For Kingdom family leaders, understanding this model is crucial because it reveals why the same event can impact people in completely different ways. When you're leading your family, your business, or your community, you're not just dealing with events, you're dealing with everyone's unique representation of those events. This is why 2 employees can receive the same feedback and have completely different responses. Why your kids can experience the same family moment and remember it totally differently. Why your wife can hear your words, but understand entirely different than what you intended to communicate. As we complete the Transformation Breakthrough Seed series, the NLP Communications Model ties everything together. When you understand that everyone is deleting, distorting, and generalizing based on their unique filters, their values, beliefs, memories, and past decisions, you can lead with more empathy and communicate with more precision. Instead of assuming everyone processes information the way you do, you start asking better questions. Instead of getting frustrated when someone doesn't get it, you realize they're operating from a completely different internal representation. Instead of forcing your framework onto others, you learn to enter their world and understand their unique filtering system. Right now, think of a recent conversation where you felt misunderstood, or where someone seemed to completely miss your point. Ask yourself, what information might they have deleted that seemed obvious to you? How might they have distorted your message based on their past experiences? What generalizations might they be making that are different from yours? This week, practice asking clarifying questions. Instead of assuming you know what someone means, try phrases like, "Help me understand what that means to you." Or when you say, fill in their word, "What specifically does that look like?" You'll be amazed at how different their internal representation is from what you assumed. Understanding the NLP Communications Model doesn't just make you a better communicator. It makes you a more effective leader because you're working with reality instead of your assumptions about reality. You be blessed. If you're ready to master these breakthrough principles and apply them in a brotherhood of kingdom family leaders who understand this journey, I'd love to connect with you. Sometimes we need other men to help us see our own filtering patterns. Schedule a conversation with me at bryan.chat.